In His name be He glorified. My dear, loyal brothers, firstly, if necessary, I can send you 2 copies of the list of errors and corrections from the end of the defenses, which I have here in the new letters. They are to be sent to the Directorate of Religious Affairs in addition to the reply to the Experts Committee and to the Ankara Criminal Court. A copy of the reply to the Experts Committee should also be given to the court here. Second, it's good that they have expanded our case. Up to now, they had made it appear minor and unimportant in order to devalue it, but secretly were giving it much importance. The situation now will be more advantageous for our work in the way of belief and the Qur'an, God willing. Said Nursi. In His name be He glorified. My dear, loyal brothers, firstly, if it had been free this year, perhaps some of us would have made the Hajj. God willing, our intention will be accepted as though we had made it, and in these distressing conditions, our service of belief and the Risale-i Nur will yield the high reward of the Hajj. Secondly, since we have repeatedly said that the Risale-i Nur is a powerful and true Qur'anic commentary, it was imparted to me that I should explain a fact, since some inattentive people do not know the full meaning of this. The fact is this: there are 2 sorts of Qur'anic commentaries. The first is the well-known sort of commentary. Commentaries of this sort expound and elucidate the Qur'an's phraseology, words, and sentences. The second sort explain, prove, and elucidate with powerful arguments the Qur'an's truths related to belief. This sort has great importance. Sometimes the well-known literalist commentaries include this sort in summary fashion. But the Risale-i Nur has made it its basis directly and is a commentary on the Qur'an's meanings which silences obstinate philosophers in unprecedented manner. Thirdly, this morning I was going to write something but did not. Now the same matter has come up and the clerk Salim Bey gave permission. Hüsrev and Tahiri should come tomorrow in order to write a petition to the cabinet. Said Nursi. In His name be He glorified. My dear, loyal brothers, is it us and the Risale-i Nur who are the most harmful things around, so that all other writers are free to write and all classes of people are free to meet together? But without religious education, Muslims cannot be governed except by means of absolute despotism and absolute bribery. For just as up to the present no Muslim has ever become a true Christian or Jew, they rather become irreligious and completely corrupted, so a Muslim cannot become a communist. He turns into an anarchist and can be governed by nothing other than absolute despotism. We, Risale-i Nur students, are working both for government and public order and the happiness of the country and nation. Those opposed to us are irreligious anarchists and enemies of the country and nation. It is essential that the government should not interfere with us, but protect and assist us. Said Nursi. In His name be He glorified. My dear, loyal brothers, firstly, their releasing publishers of the Risale-i Nur, like Refat, Adhem, the Çalışkans, and Burhan, shows that it is not forbidden to disseminate the Risale-i Nur, and the court does not intervene. It is also a sign that it has decided that there is no political society. Also, since in prolonging our case it has attracted widespread attention to the Risale-i Nur and is like a general invitation to read it and an official advertisement, and it has excited the desire of the needy to study it, it has led to benefits for us and the believers far surpassing our tribulations and losses. It is a sign, God willing, that the sacred instruction will have the effect of an Adam boom against the aggressive troops of misguidance who are on the assault at this time throughout the earth in the most widespread and terrible fashion. Said Nursi. In His name be He glorified. My dear brothers Refat, Mehmet Feyzi, Sabri, I received a severe warning and sign and earnestly request of you for the sake of the Risale-i Nur and out of respect for this festival and for the sake of our old rights that you try to heal this awesome new wound of ours. For our coward enemies are following two plans. One is to destroy my character with insulting treatments, and the second is to make us feel coldly towards each other, to criticize, object to, and be offended at chiefly Husrev is to cause division amongst us. I tell you that if Husrev had 1,000 faults, I would still be chary of opposing him. For to oppose him now is to directly oppose the Risale-i Nur and myself, and to support those who have ruined us. It is a terrible betrayal, so that an extraordinary thing happened to me for no reason like my stove disintegrating. I am also of the opinion that the last torments to have been inflicted on me resulted from your meaningless and very harmful lack of solidarity. A fearful finger is stirring things up here, especially in Ward 6. Don't make me weep this festival. Quickly make heartfelt peace. Said Nursi. In His name be He glorified. My dear, loyal brothers, I wanted only 2 or 3 of our brothers to be released today, but the divine favor that looks to us left them behind here for their own good. It is absolutely essential that our present situation is maintained for around 3 weeks. For our being together for this festival is necessary both for us and the Risale-i Nur, and for our work, and for our physical and spiritual comfort, and so that we can receive a full share of the Hajj's prayers, and to save the treatises that have been sent to Ankara from being confiscated, and so that those who pity us in our plight and embrace the Risale-i Nur may increase in number, and it can be a proof that we did not have recourse to the traitors to the country, nation, and religion by consenting to serious errors of the present. Said Nursi. In His name be He glorified. My dear, loyal brothers, unable to endure due to their reign of Wahhabism, Imam Ali's, may God be pleased with him, earnest interest in and appreciation of the Risale-i Nur, and influenced by the groundless suspicions that last year caused Zamzam water to be poured away and this year prevented people going to make the Hajj, the experts' committee directed their unfair, incorrect, and unjustifiable jealous criticisms at the 5th ray. At this time of suspicion and alarm, the safest place for us is prison. God willing, the treatises of the Risale-i Nur will win the freedom of both us and themselves. Since, under these harsh conditions in the face of so many opponents, they are making themselves read in unprecedented fashion and making their students work in prison in various ways, and through divine favor not allowing them to be ruined, we are bound to be content with this much and to offer thanks instead of complaining. It is because of this contentment that I am able to endure all my severe distress. I do not interfere in God's concerns. Said Nursi. In His name be He glorified. My dear, loyal brothers, of these 2 copies, one is mine and one is the governor's. Correct the governor's copy according to the copy that has my handwriting on it. While studying the supreme sign this time, I saw that the second station until the end and the conversation at the end were of the greatest importance, and I profited from them enormously. One of you should read and the other listen so that you can profit too. In addition to doing the corrections, our brothers should not remain idle but should study in pairs. Secondly, my copy of the 10th word, the notebook here containing letters, and the rest should not get lost nor remain idle. I am leaving it to Ceylan to supervise this. Said Nursi. In His name be He glorified. My dear loyal brothers, while reading Jaljalatuye now, it was imparted to me the moment this question occurred to me. I wonder what the relationship is between Surah Thumma Nun in the phrase بِحَقِّ تَبَارَكَ ثُمَّ نُون وَسَائِل at the 26th degree, which indicates the treatise on divine determining. I saw when reading the start of that surah, Nun by the pen and by the record which men write, that it is the word Nun that is the origin, basis, pre-eternal source, and eternal master of all pens, writing, and books, and indicates the pen of divine determining, and the light of pre-eternal knowledge. That is, just as, by the winds that scatter broadcast, looks to the treatise on minute particles with a powerful relation inferring an indication, so does the word Nun look to the treatise on divine determining with a powerful indication. Said Nursi. In His name be He glorified. My dear, loyal, unshakable brothers. Firstly, in accordance with the meaning of good lies in what God wishes, there must be some good in our case being delayed. My heart and the Risale-i Nur's freedom demanded that it should be thus. By consoling each other, strengthening each other's moral and scholarly debate and pleasant conversation, and by writing out and studying the Risale-i Nur, you will be successful in attracting divine mercy, which erases the points of difficulty and transforming these transitory hours into eternal ones. Secondly, since we exchanged the festival greetings in the temporary prison of the court, as a festival sweet, I sent what is for me the very meaningful honey from the village of Nurs, together with the Zamzam water which Zubayr, the hero from Konya, brought me. Put the water in the flask of honey and mix them together. Then leave the Zamzam in it and drink it with good health. Said Nursi. In His name be He glorified. My dear, loyal brothers, an important and meaningful question was asked by someone important. He asked me, "You are not a political society, and 3 courts of law have acquitted you on that point, and this has also been established because the 6 promises that have kept you under surveillance for 20 years have not made any accusations in connection with it. Nevertheless, there is a wondrous attachment between the Nurjus that is not found in any political society or group. We would like to have this difficulty solved for us." In reply, I said this: "That is true. The Nurjus are not a political society of any sort or a group organized for any political, worldly, negative, personal, or communal interests, and they could not be thus. They are the sons and daughters and grandchildren of the old heroes of this land, the millions of Islamic devotees who with perfect joy sacrificed their lives to win the rank of martyrdom. They have inherited their vein of self-sacrifice so that they display this wondrous attachment, and in Denizli court caused this impotent, wretched brother of theirs to declare on their account, 'Let our heads be sacrificed for a truth, for which millions of heroic heads have been sacrificed.' He said this in their name, leaving the court in astonished and appreciative silence. That is to say, among the Nurjus are true, sincere, positive devotees who act solely for God's pleasure and the hereafter, so that the fearsome secret societies of the Masons, Communists, corruptors, atheists, godless, and Tashnaks have found no means to oppose them, and so want to ruin and scatter them through flexible laws by deceiving the government and judiciary. God willing, they can do nothing, only be the reason for the devotees of the Risale-i Nur and of the faith increasing in number." Said Nursi. In His name be He glorified. My dear, loyal brothers, I am going to relate to you a question and answer of 40 years ago, which resembles that of yesterday. In those days of long ago, the Old Sayyid's students' passionate attachment to their master was such they would sacrifice their very lives for him, so he was able to help the Armenian Tashnak revolutionaries around Van and Bitlis, where they were very active, and was able to curb them to a degree. He found Mauser rifles for his students, and for a while his madrasa was like a barracks with guns and books side by side. Then a general from the army came and saw them and said, "This isn't a madrasa, it's a barracks." Because of the Bitlis incidents, he became suspicious and ordered that they collected up our rifles. A month or two later, the Great War broke out and I reclaimed my rifles. Anyway, they asked me in connection to the above, the Armenian revolutionaries, among whom are fervent devotees ready to sacrifice their lives, are frightened of you, so that when you climbed the mountain Erekdağ near Van, they withdraw and go elsewhere. What force do you have that makes them do that? In reply, I told them, the Armenian devotees display this wondrous self-sacrifice for the fleeting life of this world and the temporary interests of trifling, negative nationalism, and attack us, so surely the students who strive for everlasting life and the positive interests of West, sacred Islamic nationhood, and believe that the appointed hour cannot be changed, will not lag behind those devotees. Note: impotently, I say in the name of my brothers, if necessary, we shall overtake them and advance far beyond them, God willing. We shall show that we are the heirs of our forefathers, both in religion and in heroism. If necessary, they unhesitatingly and proudly sacrifice the certain appointed hour and few years of illusory outward life for millions of years of true life and the well-being and interests of thousands of millions of their fellow believers. Sayyid Nursi. In his name be he glorified. My dear, loyal, faithful, kindly brothers, for 2 days I have felt an aching in my head and nerves from flu. Although I needed the consolation and companionship in such circumstances of meeting with friends, I was constricted by a terrible loneliness and isolation. Complaints like the following occurred to me. Why do we suffer this torment? How does it benefit our work? Then, this morning, the following was imparted to me. For us to be set this rigorous examination and to be struck on the touchstone numerous times to see clearly whether we are gold or brass, and to be tried unfairly in every respect, and to be passed through ever finer sieves 3 or 4 times to see whether our evil commanding souls take a share or are playing any tricks, is extremely necessary for our service, which should be purely and solely in the name of truth and reality, so that divine determining and dominical grace permit it. For by being exhibited in this field of trial and examination confronted by obdurate, unjust enemies and their pretexts, everyone has understood that there is no trickery, no egotism, no malice, no worldly or personal interests, nor interests that look to the hereafter mixed in with our service, and that it is completely sincere and proceeds from truth and reality. If it had remained concealed, it could have been given numerous meanings. The mass of believers would not have had confidence in it. They would have said, perhaps they are deceiving us, and the elite too would have had their suspicions, thinking that perhaps they are acting the same as some of those people who sell themselves to acquire spiritual rank for themselves and to win confidence. They would not feel completely certain about it. Now, following the examination, even the most stubborn and obdurate person is compelled to submit. If your hardship is 1, your profits are 1,000-fold. God willing. Sayyid Nursi. In his name be he glorified. Just when with their stringent prohibitions they were trying to scare people everywhere away from me, the advertisements in the newspaper about the incident when I was a prisoner of war has increased their interest. Yesterday, 3 officials who are in favor of insulting my person sat in the prison yard. The people gather when Said appears at the window and they look at him. He must not stand at the window or we will change his word. The chief warder said this. But don't you worry at all. I have decided to endure all difficulties. God willing, through the blessings of your prayers, the distress will turn into joy. Essentially, the incident is true, but because I had no witnesses, I never described it in detail. I did not realize that a squad had come to execute me. I understood later. I did not know that the Russian commander then said some things in Russian by way of apology. That is to say, the Muslim major who was present and who reported the incident to the newspaper understood. Apparently, the commander said several times, "Forgive me." My brothers, when I am busy with the Risale-i Nur, the distress diminishes. That means our duty is to be occupied with its treatises and to give no importance to passing things and to offer thanks in patience. Said Nursi. An astonishing trait in Bediüzzaman's character. This appeared in the 15th Teshrin-i Evvel, 1948 number of the magazine Ehl-i Sünnet. It was written by the magazine's owner, who is a lawyer. Bediüzzaman was taken prisoner the same day that I was wounded and captured in Bitlis during the First World War. He was sent to Siberia to one of the big prisoner of war camps. I was on the island of Nangun near Baku. One day, Nikola Nikolaevich visited the camp in order to inspect the prisoners. While passing in front of Bediüzzaman ignored him, not so much as stirring a finger. This attracted the commander-in-chief's attention. On some pretext, he passed by a second time, and again Bediüzzaman did not stir. He passed by a third time and stopped. Then the following exchange ensued. "Do you know who I am?" "Yes, I know. You are Nikola Nikolaevich, the Tsar's uncle and commander-in-chief of the Caucasian front. So, why do you insult me?" "Forgive me, but I have not insulted you. I am merely doing what my beliefs demand." "What do your beliefs demand?" "I am a Muslim scholar. I have belief in my heart. Someone with belief in his heart is superior to one without belief. If I had risen to my feet, I would have been disrespectful to my beliefs. I did not stand up for that reason. In that case, by saying that I am without belief, you are insulting both my person and the army to which I belong, and my nation and the Tsar. A military court will be set up at once, and you shall be interrogated." On this comment, a military court was set up. The Turkish, German, and Austrian officers in the headquarters all pleaded with Bediüzzaman to apologize to the commander-in-chief. He replied like this: "I want to travel to the realm of the hereafter, to the presence of God's messenger, upon whom be blessings and peace, and I have to have a passport. I can't act contrarily to my beliefs." No one could open their mouths in the face of this and awaited the results. The interrogation ceased, and they passed a sentence of execution for insulting the Russian Tsar and army. Bediüzzaman said cheerfully to the officer leading the squad that came to carry out the sentence, "Allow me 15 minutes to perform my duties." He took the ablutions. Then, while performing 2 rakats of prayers, Nikola Nikolaevich appeared. He said, "Forgive me. I supposed you acted as you did to insult me, so I had you tried according to the law. But now I realize that you were merely acting out of your beliefs and were carrying out what they enjoin. The judgment is quashed. You are worthy of respect for the firmness of your belief. I disturbed you. Again, forgive me." A major, one of Bediüzzaman's companions, described this high trait of his character and firmness of religion, which is a worthy example for all Muslims, as he himself witnessed it. When I heard it, involuntarily my eyes filled with tears. Abdul Rahim. Note: Ustad did not ask for this article to be published in the newspaper, but being both of great interest and an instructive example and very exciting, it has been included here. Husrev. My brothers, I have no appetite, and because gifts upset me, I have sent you my share, which consists of 3 portions of butter, a basket of grapes, a bag of apples, 2 packets of tea, and sugar. I was going to give them to you as a gift, but I asked, and you have some too. With the money from them, I am going to buy things like yogurt, eggs, and bread, so the Madrasatul Zahra is not displeased at me, saying that I did not eat the gifts. Sell them to the needy, cheaply, and to the deserving, so that the gifts of the Madrasatul Zahra and its branches will be blessed in 2 respects, and be healing for both me and those who receive them. Let Husrev supervise it, and Ceylan and Hıfzı sell them. Said Nursi. My dear, loyal brothers, firstly, the following was imparted to me in connection with the newspaper article about me. An imperious Russian commander so loved his anger in the face of the dignity of your belief and apologized. So, if the officials who have seen the truly powerful, sincere teachings 100 times better than I could give of the Risale-i Nur, which gain firm belief, for a person persist in their obduracy and do not see the matter fairly, certainly no punishment other than hell could provide them. The penalty for such a vast crime could not be paid in a brief lifetime. For if butter goes bad, it is inedible, it is not like milk and yogurt. God willing, the Risale-i Nur will save most of them before they are corrupted. Secondly, let Mehmet Feyzi write to Bedri and tell him that I am including all those he mentions in his letter in my prayers. They too should pray for me. Said Nursi.